Evolution has yielded us some pretty interesting skills. Though we've been telling oral histories for thousands of years, this pales in comparison to the amount of time we've been hunting and gathering. For this reason, we can not only spot an approaching predator very quickly, we can also remember pictures far better than spoken words. This is super useful if you need to remember where you saw that herd of buffalo going, or what that berry looked like that made everyone really, really sick. Because of this evolutionary development, visual information is simply easier to recall than auditory information. It also has to do with the fact that pictures are more encoded. They are imbued with rich information, such as color, context, shape, and size, and they're more likely to have a higher number of neural connections. To demonstrate this, I want to go through an exercise. I'm going to show you a picture, and as they say, a picture is 1,000 words. I'm going to show you this picture for 1 or 2 seconds, and I want you to try and understand as much detail as you can about it. What are the people doing? How are they feeling? What is the context? Now, you just saw that picture for a very short amount of time, but I bet you if I asked you to, you could write me at least 1,000 words about the colors, the composition, where things were laid out, what the meaning and significance of the photo is. A photo is just information, and what you just did is reading thousands of words in a matter of seconds. This kind of demonstrates how effective it is to see things as pictures and symbols rather than auditory information. For this reason, we have to learn to transform concepts and ideas and other important information into pictures right when we encounter it. The best types of pictures, by the way, are strange, bizarre, or emotionally connected to our memories, but we'll be covering that in a little bit more detail soon. For now, I want to tell you guys a pretty interesting story that actually happened while I was building this course. I was chatting with a neuroscientist from Austria, and we were talking about the process of learning and neural networks and things like that, and specifically as it related to languages. But we began to talk about different ways to learn, and she recanted a story to me of when she was in med school, long before she started to understand how the brain functioned. Apparently, one of her first tasks was to memorize all of the bones in the human body, which is a pretty momentous task. And she was telling me that she struggled a great deal with doing so. And this was because they were simply looking at the bones in a diagram, a very kind of undetailed image without any emotional connection. She said she struggled and struggled. But then, one of the next assignments she had was to memorize all of the ligaments in the human body. And the way that they learned that as a class was by dissecting a cadaver, top to bottom. She told me, "I promise you, I'll never forget a single ligament in the human body." One thing that really caught my attention is how she described it. She told me, "Those images will never leave my mind." Now, I think it's important to draw a conclusion from this, and it's important to realize that in both situations, both the textbook with the bone diagrams and the cadavers, there were images involved. However, the detailed experiential images, the very concrete, minute details, are what allowed her to memorize the ligaments much better than the bones. This is a really interesting segue because in the next sections we're going to be talking about what types of images are most poignant and most memorable, and also how we can better store images laced with significance and meaning to improve our long-term memory.